This is a video review of the film. The film contains actors over 18 years of age. The video is made for entertainment purposes. The author of the video does not intend to offend anyone.
Wild woman and wild girl are walking through the forest in search of food. They have been surviving in the forest for many years. A wild woman, 8 years ago, was captured by a psychopathic man. She killed him and found a teenage girl, Peggy, and a little girl, Darlene, in the house. The woman took them with her into the forest. After 8 years, Darlene has grown up and almost forgotten her past life. But their normal life in the forest came to an end. A wild woman brings her adopted daughter to an ordinary human hospital. She sends the girl into the building alone, but Darlene does not have time to reach the entrance. She is hit by a car. Doctors put the girl on a medical gurney and take her for a medical examination. But Darlene comes to her senses and runs away. She runs on all fours like a wild animal. She enters a room in which a newborn baby lies. A doctor named Tony finds the girl and grabs her. He takes her out into the corridor and lets her go. Tony tries to explain to the girl that he won't harm her. Darlene calms down, but another doctor attacks from behind and injects her with medicine. Darlene falls asleep. Dr. Grant tells his colleague that the girl has no health problems. Tony asks, what will happen to the girl when she wakes up? Dr. Grant replies that the girl will live in a monastery. Tony says he doesn't like the idea. Recently, he and his boyfriend wanted to adopt a child, but the priest from this monastery refused them. In the evening, Darlene wakes up in the ward. She looks out the window and sees her foster mother outside. A wild woman quickly sneaks up on a mindless man lying on a bench and kills him. She takes his skin with her. Meanwhile, Tony enters the girl's room. She attacks him, but Tony tries to show her that she is safe. Tony tries to talk to the girl, but Darlene may no longer remember English. Tony leaves the room and meets his boyfriend. He hopes that someday they will also have their own child. The next day, the bishop comes to the hospital. Dr. Grant tells him about the wild girl. The bishop looks in surprise at the innocent young girl who was not infected with the technovirus. The doctor says that she is completely harmless and does not speak. It is unknown how long she spent in isolation from the modern world. At night, Tony brings food for Darlene. She starts eating meat like an animal. Tony looks at her and said that he will miss her. The bishop thanks God for giving him such a beautiful girl. He asks Sister Jennifer to help raise a wild girl. In the morning, Tony brings Darlene to the girl's boarding house and hopes that everything will be fine with her. The bishop comes up with a plan to increase the popularity of this place. He wants to show the incredible transformation of a wild girl into a normal person. Darlene meets other girls living in this boarding house. All of them have no parents and hope that someday they will be adopted. One of the girls gives Darlene advice. She must learn to talk, otherwise the bishop will get angry. Sister Jennifer takes Darlene with her. The bishop wants to record a video of the wild girl so that in the future people can compare and see the work the bishop has done. Sister Jennifer enters the cage and begins to dirty Darlene's skin. Darlene becomes aggressive and attacks the woman.
Hold on to her. Hold on to her.
The bishop finishes filming the video. He enters the cage and calms the girl down.
It's okay, my child. I'm sorry. Sometimes doing the right thing isn't easy.
They take Darlene into a room, and the bishop explains to Sister Jennifer that they did nothing wrong. Darlene takes a shower and reminisces about the past. She found the young guy and saved his life. With him, she had the first kiss in her life. Meanwhile, the wild woman is watching the hospital because she thinks Darlene is still there. The next day, Darlene attends the first lesson of her life. One girl behaves inappropriately, and Sister Jennifer removes her from class. The girl begs Sister Jennifer not to give her to the bishop, but Jennifer is forced to do so. During class, Darlene throws the Bible out the window and runs into the forest. All the nuns go in search of the girl. Meanwhile, the wild woman meets a policeman. It makes a good lunch. The woman takes the gun and hides the body in a trash can. Then she goes to the hospital and kills first the doctor and then the clown. The woman meets Tony and he promises to help her find Darlene. They get into the car and hit the road. A girl named Billy goes into the forest to listen to music. Darlene walks up and sits next to her. Billy gives Darlene his earphone and turns on the song. After listening to the song, Billy says that she must return to the boarding house. Darlene agrees to go along. Meanwhile, the wild woman gets scared of the police car and begins to become aggressive. The wild woman runs away. She is found by a homeless woman and brought to a homeless women's camp. Sister Jennifer apologized to Darlene. The girl begins to trust her. She notices a cookie on the table and takes it to bed with her. The cookies reminded the girl of her past life. From this day on, Darlene begins to learn to live like an ordinary person. She helps with cleaning, plays with other girls, and eats a lot. Sister Jennifer teaches her to read, but one day, Darlene feels bad, and she again remembers the boy in the forest. In the evening, Sister Jennifer treats Darlene to candy, and Darlene begins to speak for the first time. Darlene asks why God is punishing her. The next day, Bishop brings Darlene to his room. Darlene tells him that there is a devil in her, but the bishop says that soon, after baptism, God will cast out the devil from her. Darlene hugs the bishop for giving her hope. Another normal day passes. At night, the bishop comes into the girl's room and wounds Darlene's leg, but it was a nightmare. In the morning, Tony comes to Darren and asks how she is doing. He says that the wild woman is looking for her. He asks to tell about this woman. Darlene says that she had two sisters, Sister Dog and Sister Peggy. The dog ran away when Peggy died. A demon came out of her and killed her. Now Darlene is afraid that the demon will kill her too. The bishop asks Tony to leave. He takes Darlene to his room and tells her that there is one last test left. He asks her to take off her clothes and is going to enjoy her young body. But when Darlene takes off her clothes, the bishop sees her stomach. Darlene is pregnant. He kicks her out and says he doesn't want to see her anymore. Billy tries to calm Darlene down and says, "It's just a baby." But Darlene thinks that she will die like her sister. Soon the baptism takes place and Sister Jennifer realizes that Darlene is pregnant. She comes to the bishop and says that he has no right to do this with girls. She judges him for this and thinks that Darlene is pregnant because of him. It turns out that as a child, Jennifer was raped by the bishop just like many other girls. But he says that Darlene is not pregnant from him. The wild woman continues to search for her adopted daughter. She goes into the store and picks up a baby carrier. During a conversation with the bishop, Darlene explains what happened to the boy in the forest. After conception happened, the wild woman made a hole in the guy's heart. Darlene ate it, but for the first time she felt like she was doing a bad thing. The bishop leaves in horror. The day of communion is coming. Darlene drinks detergent in hopes of causing a miscarriage. Wild woman finds a newspaper with Darlene's photo. Other women help her find a boarding house. During communion, the bishop shows everyone a video of a wild girl. He brags about how he changed this child's life. Darlene approaches the bishop but does not want to participate in the ceremony. Sister Jennifer stands up and tells everyone that the bishop is a rapist. Darlene bites his hand and eats a piece of flesh, but she begins to feel sick and has a stomachache. Darlene goes into labor. At this moment, the wild woman comes and kills the bishop. Tony helps deliver the baby. The child is born healthy. The wild woman gives the child to Darlene, but she asks to take the baby away from people. A wild woman puts the child in a carrier and carries him away into the forest forever. And this is where the film ends. Write your opinion about it in the comments. Like the video and subscribe to the channel to be the first to watch new videos.